Sam Bradford and his last 6 games or so. The Eagles are 5-1 in the last 6 games. Bradford has started and finished. And the one thing about it is 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Are they the greatest numbers? No, but I think he is taking care of the football, and he's been very accurate with his passes as well. Is that just, how do you assess Bradford's performance here the last 6 games of the season?
Yeah, I think even more so in the last 4 games, you've seen a growth and an improvement. The thing that I really point to is his footwork. I mean, that was something that was evident on his 53-yard touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar against Buffalo on Sunday. Obviously, the throw was outstanding. But what most impressed me was avoiding the pass rush, climbing the pocket, and keeping his eyes up and down the field. And that's the type of stuff that you just didn't see as much early in the season. So that footwork in particular is really where I think he's grown, as well as his leadership. I mean, that's the other thing that the guys can't stop talking about, is how they kind of told him, like, we need you to be a more vocal, and he's responded in a big way.
And, Josh, you also highlighted, and it's a great point, first play of the game, you go deep to Riley Cooper. Riley Cooper's got to make that catch, but that was a great throw by Sam Bradford, 50 yards down the field. Also highlighting, obviously, the Nelson Aguilar play down the field. Has that been a difference in Bradford's game the last few times? Is he's actually throwing the ball on the field and he's taking chances?
Yeah, and that's one thing that you touched on before was the accuracy. I mean, the number of errant throws and kind of those balls where you're just like, what's he doing on that play? That significantly declined over the course of the season. And those deep balls that he threw, I mean, those are some of his most accurate passes, were the 53-yard touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar, the 50-yard pass that hit Riley Cooper's hands. And so he's had these passes where, he missed one to Shea Yazier too. I think it might have been the first play in the second half. But he hit more of those than he didn't of those passes deep down the field, and he did a job of reading the defenses and seeing what they're giving him, and then he can take those shots because they've been available to him early in the season, but now he's capitalizing on those opportunities.
So that's more from Bradford, right? It's not Chip Kelly calling plays, for shots down the field, kind of taking the reins off Sam Bradford a little bit. It is more on Bradford taking chances. It's more on him as opposed to Kelly.
It's more on him. I do think specifically against Buffalo, Chip, he designed, there's this one play that the Eagles kept running over and over, and you watch the film, and you're like, why did Buffalo not defend this differently? Because the Eagles, they ran the same play on Nelson Aguilar's 53-yard touchdown pass. They ran it earlier in the game. Zach Ertz wide open. I think it was maybe a 25-yard pass. They ran it again in the third quarter. 0-2, as I mentioned, he was open. They didn't complete it, but still, it was there for them. So I think they definitely targeted Buffalo's defense over the top. That's something they saw on the film, particularly with their quarters coverage. They were talking about how their safeties and their quarterbacks, when they switched routes downfield, it wasn't always smooth. So they want to take advantage of that, put that back end of the Buffalo defense on the spot and make them make those split-second decisions and try to capitalize. So specifically against Buffalo, I do think they gave Bradford more of a chance to attack downfield.
On the other side of the ball, when you look at what Arizona tries to do offensively, it's field downfield, more along with the lines you're talking about there with Bradford. The Arizona Cardinals, they want to get vertical. They want to get that way as much as possible, and they have the weapons to do it. But they need the time to be able to make those plays. And there's a guy who doesn't always show up in the stat column as much for what he does as important as he is, Fletcher Cox. How important do you see him being in terms of what, if the Eagles are to win, it seems like they're going to have to get back there and pressure Carson Palmer, and perhaps nobody can do that or generate as much of a push as Fletcher Cox. How big will he be on Sunday?
Oh, yeah, that's spot on. He's going to be absolutely crucial. One of the biggest reasons the Eagles beat the Patriots in New England was because of the pass rush, and not just the pass rush, but being able to get there to Tom Brady with only 3 or 4 guys without blitzing a whole lot. And Fletcher Cox, even though he doesn't have a lot of sack numbers, one thing he does a great job of, he just pushes the entire offensive line back into the quarterback and makes the quarterback try to escape the pocket and maybe go into the hands of Brandon Graham or Connor Baldwin. So even though he doesn't have these huge stats, he's hands down one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, and his ability to get to the quarterback, and even when he doesn't get to the quarterback, to affect the throws, to disrupt the timing of the play. That's going to be critical as you mentioned, Arizona, you can count on them taking about 8 shots down the field per game. And Carson Palmer, unlike the other elite quarterbacks in the NFL, he doesn't get the ball out of his hands quickly. So that's going to be the one area that they have to take advantage of.
Josh Paunil, Birds 24/7, with us 97.3 ESPN, MPG, and Scott Grayson. Are you still worried, though, about the offense, Josh? Because, I mean, you look at the Bills game, they win the game, obviously, but only 6 points in that second half. The Patriots game, you had 3 plays from Sproles, Najee Good, and the pick 6 from Jenkins. So really, offensively, this team is still not there, in my opinion. Are you still worried about this offense, Josh?
Oh, absolutely, and specifically because of 2 people, Matt Tobin and Alan Barber. I mean, even with Jason Peters back, you still have those 2 huge question marks at left and right guard. And even if Ryan Matthews gets into a good rhythm and runs the ball well, Sam Bradford is improving, they have to have the time to do that. And that was actually on that Nelson Aguilar touchdown. The reason Sam Bradford had to show that good footwork was because Matt Tobin was beaten on the play inside quickly. Now, Matt Tobin ended up being able to get a shove on the guy and kind of get him out of the way, but still, you need production out of those 2 guys. And when 2 of the 5 offensive linemen are huge question marks, that's not very, it's very disconcerting in just how productive can they be against a good Arizona defense.
When you look at the Eagles' offense, one guy who definitely had a huge play in the last game was Nelson Aguilar, stretching the field downfield and able to make that play on the 53-yard touchdown, still dropping a few shorter passes. But is this a glimpse that maybe we're about to see Nelson Aguilar start turning into the player people thought he might be this season?
Yeah, and I really think that one of the biggest reasons for his limited production is simply his injury. I think as you see him get healthier and healthier, he's been able to perform as well as he can. And even early in the season, the one play that I point to, before he got hurt, it was a Jets game. It might have even been the first pass play the Eagles had. He was lined up across Darrelle Revis, and Nelson Aguilar beat him down the field. Now, that was back when Sam Bradford was relying even more on those running back passes out of the backfield, and so he didn't get the ball to him. But that was the one play where I was like, all right, he beat Darrelle Revis one-on-one, beat him deep. This kid can play. And so I think the biggest reason is just he's getting healthier, he's getting more comfortable, he's able to get in and out of his routes and breaks quicker. So I think as you see time go on, I really think that he's going to prove to be a good draft pick.
I asked this question to our previous guest, Josh, and I'm going to ask you the same one here. Is this a game where, listen, I mean, look, head-to-head, Cardinals are a better football team than the Eagles. I mean, the record says so. But is this a game where you're going to need maybe a pick 6 or Darren Sproles return or a special teams touchdown to try and win this thing?
Yeah, absolutely, because you said it. From the players to the coaches, Arizona is simply a better team than the Eagles. But, there aren't really many greater equalizers in football than turnovers. And that's obviously one of the big reasons they were able to beat New England, along with the pass rush, was Malcolm Jenkins' pick 6, Byron Maxwell's interception in the end zone. So those turnovers, even if the Eagles struggle to move the ball down the field, or if they really can't get it going offensively, if the defense can give them a short field, or if the defense can score points themselves, that's going to be critical. So if they want to win the game, they have to win the turnover margin. I don't see any way they can win if they don't beat the Cardinals in the turnovers.
When you look at how this season is unfolding, it's kind of a dead heat here heading down the home stretch with the 3 NFC East teams minus the Cowboys trying to vie for this division title. How do you see it shaking out? Who wins the NFC East?
Well, after these last 2 games, I mean, I'm going with the Eagles. I think the Eagles and probably Washington, I think, are the 2 strongest contenders in my mind, particularly with although you obviously want to get momentum and put in a good performance against the Cardinals on Sunday. I mean, the 2 games that really matter are at home against Washington and then in New York. And I think the Eagles, I think they're a better team. I think if they continue this improvement and this progression, not only from Sam Bradford, but from the guys around him, and they'll win this division. And, do they have holes? Yeah, obviously, but it's not like the Eagles have to become a great team in the next couple of weeks to win this mediocre at best division. A lot of teams have big question marks, but I think the Eagles are going to be able to pull it out.
All right, Josh Paunil, Birds 24/7, all the coverage right there, the All-22 as well. Birds 24/7. Josh Paunil. Josh, enjoy the game. You got Sunday night football and then Saturday night football. So still 2 more late nights for you there, buddy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun staying up until 3 a.m. talking to Chip.
Yeah. All right, Josh. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.